got everything you need to ready, set, go back to school.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is the absolute first show for Sam Cro Radio, and I almost screwed that up by saying Sim's Chat Corner. Hello, everybody. Everyone I know is tuned in today to listen to my interview with Aldo Gonzalez, but I wanted to take probably the first 3 or 4 minutes to maybe start chatting a little bit about who I am, meaning Cindy Mich, your host, and I will be your continuous host for Sam Cro Radio. Kind of give you some background information about myself, about the show, what it's going to encompass, what you have to look forward to in the future. And then, of course, we're going to have our interview with Aldo. I anticipate it's going to be approximately 60 minutes for the interview. And then I'm going to leave about 30 minutes for actual call-in questions. I just want to throw a couple things out there for all of you to know. First off, I know we put it on our actual page on Facebook, but just to let you know, obviously I'm a one-man wrecking crew here for the most part, which means I can only take so many calls in the course of 30 minutes. So I appreciate everyone listening and, of course, all of their patience, because certainly we want to give adequate time for each and every person to have a couple seconds to ask a question and, of course, for Aldo to respond. So I appreciate you just being respectful and courteous and patient. The alternate to that, of course, if you can't get in on the phone line, I have a live chat room that is open right now, as a matter of fact. So anybody that wants to talk to me or say anything, make any comments, have any questions, or throw a question out there that they just can't get through on the phone line, just chat me. And I also mentioned on the page today that probably after the next couple of shows, we'll use our Twitter handle as well, in which case then I'll have an individual who can take the tweets and actually give them to me, and then I can actually feed them to the guests. And in case any of you didn't get a big opportunity to look at the page itself, basically what we're going to be doing is, the format is set up, obviously, it's called Sam Cro Radio. For all of us, or most of us that are actually listening to this show, are obvious fans of Sons of Anarchy. So the intent here is for us to provide to you an entertaining program, something that's going to be out of the ordinary, where you're going to have opportunities to be able to call in and speak to individuals from the show, cast members, meaning not only past, present, potentially future castmates that are going to be on. It's going to be a wonderful endeavor. For all of you that don't know, obviously, Sam Cro on Facebook, who is a friend of mine, approached me to become host of the show. So I wanted to take a moment just to say how very grateful I am that we've not only become co-workers on this project, but that we've become good friends. And I'm very fortunate to have that solidified relationship. So Sam Cro, who I know you're listening, thank you so much for the opportunity. I certainly won't let you down. I'm certainly hoping not to let down everybody who's in the listening audience. Just to give you a little background about myself, I have been in radio for over a year now. I host another show by the name of Sim's Chat Corner, and that is on air actually 3 days a week. Typically, I try to do celebrities, I do artists and musicians, I do nonprofits. On occasion, I will do charity events, I will do businesses. I pretty much will do just about anybody. So since you're listening here, if you certainly have any guest suggestions for me or comments for my other show or individuals who you might want to see on my show, certainly feel free to approach me. My name, again, is Cindy. The last name is spelled M-I-C-H. I'm certainly found on Facebook, and all of my information is actually on my page about my show and, of course, about me. So certainly if you want to get involved in my other show, I would more than welcome the opportunity to talk to anybody. I've been a published author for probably over 20 years now. I'm also venturing into the documentary side of things. I'm producing a documentary solely and exclusively about bipolar disorder, which is my labor of love. I'm extremely proud of that. So I have a lot going on. And I make homemade Oreo truffles. I'm a mommy to 4 beautiful children, ranging in age from 6. We have 6-year-old, 8-year-old, 17-year-old, and 20-year-old. So, yes, I am old and aged. And I'm very sarcastic and silly. Hopefully you will find that I am a very silly person, but also a very funny individual who does a very professional job and tries to exemplify each and every person that comes onto the show. I love what I do immensely. I have a huge passion for it. I have a sister who's a musician. Most of my friends are artists and musicians, so I try to toot them as much as possible. And you know, what else can I tell you about me? I'm single. I'm looking for a Valentine. I think I just posted that on Facebook, so if anybody knows anybody, I'm certainly here, you know, maybe Charlie Hunnam, or I'm thinking Kiefer Sutherland, anybody along those lines would be cool. But no, I enjoy what I do immensely. There's no greater pleasure for me than to write a script or do any form of writing and then to throw it out into the universe and have it get across the airwaves. And individuals get a chance to listen to it, and then they come back and they tell me how much they liked it and how much they enjoyed the time that they spent with me. And fortunately for me, I've been able to solidify relationships with a lot of people that have been on my show, which I feel immensely, immensely grateful for. These are some individuals that hopefully will be lifelong friends who are very accomplished individuals. You know, my hope is always, of course, that I provide a good quality program, that individuals like their hosts, that they're able to call me on something if I do a crappy job, if they're bored and they want to get something different. Certainly, I would hope and welcome that you people come to me, whether it is by Twitter, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on the show page or my page, or email. I welcome all those sorts of things. I take if I could talk today, criticism very well. What else can I tell you? I'm a huge Marilyn Monroe fan. If any of you who are friends of mine will look on my page, you will see that I'm a fan of Sons of Anarchy. I'm a fan of Marilyn Monroe, huge fan of American Horror Story and Dexter. Most oftentimes you will find me at home cooking and watching all my DVR'd reality shows, which I'm sure Aldo Gonzalez can relate to. Us girls, we like our reality shows. What can I say? So that's typically... That's the gist. That's me in a nutshell, basically. I've been told I'm a pretty nice lady. Hopefully you'll find that out for yourself. I am also a bipolar individual. Obviously, it goes without saying that's why I'm doing this project. Certainly, if anyone happens to know anybody on that side of things, as far as my documentary goes, please feel free to let me know, and I welcome your suggestions for that. So now that I've done my 5 minutes of tooting here, I'm going to get Aldo on the line, and we can start our actual interview. Good afternoon, Aldo. Hello? Hi, Dree?
No, this is Aldo.
Hi, I have both of you, don't I?
She is actually, no, she's in the other room with her son.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I wasn't quite sure if I could tell if it was both of you or one of you, so hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today, Cindy?
I'm doing okay, actually. I'm a little nervous. It's the first show, so this is like a virgin experience on the Sam Cro Radio show today. I'm very excited that you're my first guest, in fact.
Oh, thank you.
You're one of my favorites. I mean, you are absolutely one of my favorites. Now, I can't take that away from Ted Alva because I love me some Ted Alva, and he was on my other show. I had an amazing time with him. Absolutely wonderful guy. I mean, just the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet.
He is a great guy. He's a great friend of mine, too. Yeah, yes, he is.
He's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so intimidated when I was talking to him because I'm like 5'5". I'm this little tiny girl. I'm like a whole of 130 pounds, and he's like a 6'4" giant. And I'm like, dude, you could pick me up and squeeze me, you know?
Yep. Oh yeah. You should see the eight hangers that he has on his motorcycle. Man, it's ridiculous how he rides. I'm like, whoa.
Oh my God, yes. I looked at that, and then in every picture I just look at him, and I'm like, he's got the classic poncho and the cigar, and I'm like, he looks like such a tough guy, but he always calls himself a gentle giant. So I'm like, you know. Yeah. I was less intimidated after that.
Yes, yes.
But then I found out I was having Aldo Gonzalez on my show, and I thought, oh, my God. I looked at your entire resume, and I thought, we have a million things to talk about. We just do. You're an amazing anomaly to me. I'm like just looking at all of these different things, which we're going to get into. There's a lot that I want to find out and to share with the listeners in terms of who you are and how you got to where you are now and maybe about your future a little bit. But first off, we want to start off with the big things, which is, in case some of you don't know, I'm delighted to announce that both you and your beautiful wife, Dree, just had a baby recently.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah.
And, oh, my God, the baby is beautiful. If you haven't seen it on Facebook, you have to friend Aldo and look at his baby. Oh, my God, that baby is gorgeous. Maybe because you're a first-time dad, can you maybe chronicle what that experience meant to both you and your wife, and, of course, obviously tell us about the baby?
Yeah, sure. Well, the first thing I'm going to say, I'm really blunt with everything. So I'm going to say something right now that probably some of you ladies are not going to like, but a lot of the guys are going to say, oh, yeah. And I explained this to my wife because, you know, for you ladies carry the baby. So you feel the baby, you know, we're like, yeah, but, and I've heard from a lot of other friends, they're like, you know, don't worry, when he comes out, that's it. It's over. It's over. When you see him for the first time, it's over. I'm like, okay, because, and I would tell her, okay, all right, she'd tell me, look, he's kicking, or look at it, how big it's getting, let's take pictures, and I'm like, all right, but, I try to, how can I say, I try to be a part of it and listen to her feelings, or when she's in pain, and I see and I help her out. But later on, when actually I started feeling the baby, and then saw him coming out, like, trying to come out like the alien, how he's sick, and they're doing that, I'm like, oh, okay, now I can feel what you're talking about. But, and, she'll get mad at me, and I'll tell her, just hold on, baby, just wait. When he comes out, I know it's going to be different, because then their hormones are going, your ladies' hormones are going, so you girls are getting mad at us, wow, well, you don't care about the baby, you don't care about us. It's like, no, for us it's different. We're simple guys. We don't know until he is, and a lot of, like I said, a lot of friends have told me that. But the day that I saw him, it was it. That was it. What everybody had told me, the first time when they showed him to me, and I saw him, and I'm not gonna lie too, he looked scary. When he first comes out in blood and all purple, I was like, eee. But when they cleaned him up, and I was right there taking pictures, I was like, wow. And, this is my first son. I'm 38, 39. So I didn't think I was going to have a kid anymore. I made it this far in life without one. And I'm probably one of the only ones from where I come from Boyle Heights, especially from, like, my neighborhood and all that. Everybody has, 2, 3, 4, 6 kids. So everybody would make fun of me, you're not going to have a kid, you're not going to have a kid. And now I'm blessed with my son Gage, and I'm like, man. And right now, we're at the pad, and I just see him, and now he's opening up his eyes, and he moves around, and, it's everything that all my other friends have told me is exactly that. It's like, wow, it's beautiful, and now my wife sees it, and I go, see, I told you, I love my little boy. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful feeling.
And how old is he now?
He is a week and 1 day. He was born on January 2nd.
How's the sleep pattern going so far?
No sleep.
No sleep for Daddy or no sleep for Mommy?
I let her sleep, so she's sleeping, and I'm taking care of him in the night and stuff.
Oh,
and then we're blessed to have her mom right now for a couple of weeks, so she's helping out because my wife and her mom, they're from the island of Guam, little island. So she came all the way from Guam, to see her grandson, her only grandson born. And she's going to be here, with us for a little while longer, then she can go back to Guam. So Grandma's taking care of him, too, for right now. Yeah.
My goodness gracious. Well, all of us are going to watch on Facebook. We're going to watch this little baby develop. I'm sure you're going to be on like 14 times a day putting his picture up because I've been seeing it. And kudos.
My wife is like that. My wife is like that. I don't really like to post up, too much stuff. But, yeah, I'll post a picture here and there. Yeah.
Gotcha. Good for you. All right. Well, okay, that was the biggest question I had for you. All the rest of this is pretty simple because your baby boy takes precedence over everything we know. But we do got to talk about you a little bit. I want to start off by saying, obviously not surprisingly, you ventured into the entertainment business because I know your family derives from the same field. Now, at the age of 12, you were performing as a drummer, I know, with the band Expression. Now, was that a true passion for you, your music?
Yeah, my dad and my uncles, they all played in bands in nightclubs, Mexican bands, Mexican nightclubs. That was my dad. That was the way he fed us. Every night he left and he played in a nightclub and brought home. That was his thing. And his older brother and his two older brothers, but one went back to Mexico and the other one stood right here. So it was my dad and my uncle that they're the ones that mainly for a long time, for years, they were together playing. So then my older brother took over and he got the drums and then I got the guitar, but then I don't know how we switched. So he got the guitar and then I got the drums, and it ended up like that. So my brother started in a band first. I think this was I was barely in junior high, like in 7th grade. So it was 13 years old, 12, 13, somewhere around right there. And my brother, he was already going into high school. So I started playing with him in a band, and we played hardcore music, like straight edge, pretty fast stuff like that. And we would play. And from there, we played for a while, and we changed bands, and growing up where I grew up, it's challenging. But from there, he went off to other bands, and then I went off to another band, and I played in several bands, one with him, and 2 other bands where we got signed up for record deals, but at the last second we didn't end up for whatever case it was. So we were there, and we were going to get signed up, and we're going to start touring, and then something happened. A band member, and I'm the drummer. I'm the one in the back. I'm not the singer, and my brother's the guitarist too. And then in the last group, I was already lost. I was already into the gang stuff and the street life, the partying, getting loaded. So the band, they're really good friends. They just started distancing themselves away from me, and they wanted to do it. So they're like, you know what? And we got signed, and we did a CD, but then the record labels were like, you know what? We're not going to let you tour because you guys are breaking up, so there's no way we're going to sell the CD because it's not fair to the fans. So we're like, okay. So then that was it. And that's how that ended. But yeah, I've been playing for when I was younger, I played for a lot of years.
I betcha. Were you trained or self-taught?
Self-taught. Yeah.
Wow.
My brother is self-taught, but also trained and from school. And I try to get drums and special activities in school, but my grades weren't good enough. And the way, I couldn't do anything because the way I acted around school and all that,
Oh, sure. I imagine.
Yeah.
Now, tell me something. With being younger, of course, obviously, and your family coming from that background, I'm assuming that your parents were obviously first and foremost to say to you, hey, Aldo, we want you to be a musician, or had they had other dreams for you?
He didn't want us to be musicians because for him it was a passion, but more of a job, to pay the bills, to feed us, because me, my brother, my sisters were first generation right here. My dad's from Mexico, my mom's from Guatemala. So when he came over here and, he started doing that stuff, he loved the music, but it was more of it's money, to take care. So, we tried it in the music that we played back then. It wasn't cool back then. This was in the mid-'80s, Now, any style of music, whatever you play, and you could cross over, you could listen to rap, you could listen to rock, and you're cool. Back then, you either had to be a rocker, you had to either be a gangster, you had to be country, but now I can listen. But I've always listened. I love music, so I even listen to country. I listen to everything. So my dad back then, he was like, nah, he didn't really like us playing that style of music. And my mom was my mom. She was always wonderful. Whatever we did, she was always very helpful, and she would always encourage us. So, but my dad was like, nah, yeah, that's how it was back then.
I bet. And now, as I understand it, you're going to be promoting your band, and help me with this. Is it Jabom? Jabom?
No, it's J-Bomb, just another bunch of Mexicans.
How cool is that?
Yeah. I haven't played for about 17 years around there. So my brother is playing with another band, and they're called J-Bomb. They've been around since like the 92s. We used to practice with them. They're good friends with us in Boyle Heights. And we used to practice in their same garage. So they've been around, changing band members and all that. But the original member, Sergio Soto, is still right there. And my brother Chuck, Sergio, he's been around with them for a long time too. So now he knows the type of person that I am. I've changed. I'm a professional person. I'm not the person that I was before. And my brothers are like, hey, you want to get back on the drums? Because they lost their drummer. So he's like, you want to get back on the drums? You want to start playing drums? You want to play the drums with us? You want to, give it a shot? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Hey, I've missed it, but I don't know how to tell you. I haven't played for like 16 years. He's like, let's just jam. And we started jamming. We went to the studio and started jamming, and they liked. And I already knew, all the other members too. So they're like, yeah, let's do it. And so now we're going full steam ahead. Make this thing happen.
Cool. Yes, and I'm a huge fan of drummers. My ex is a drummer. The father of my kids is a drummer, and I have dear friends that are musicians that are drummers. I seem to have that thing for drummers, so you're pretty high in my book right off the bat. I'm like, dude, you're a drummer, you're in. I mean, that's all I got to say about that. Okay, now, obviously at some point, I know you had made a transition away from your passions and veered into the direction of the gang lifestyle. I wanted to ask you, how does one become enticed into that lifestyle, and moreover, how did you turn your goals back around to include a life in television and film?
Well, for every individual, it's different. There's a bunch of different reasons. Some, a lot now, I believe, they're just doing it just to get in because it's cool. But where I grew up, it's just friends. It's us growing up together. And it's just us growing up, and I don't, it's hard to explain, but it's basically that. Where we grew up, in Boyle Heights, right there, it's very congested with people. So we grew up in the streets, we grew up in apartments, so outside playing around, we're outside in the day, playing around. So this is everybody that we grew up with going into elementary school. I didn't get it that early because my brother went to a junior high away from us. It was a magnet school because he was doing good, really good in school. So my mom didn't want me to go when I was going to graduate my elementary school. She didn't want me to go to my junior high where I was supposed to go because I was already getting in trouble. So she put in a word for me, and my brother at that school, and they took me without my records. They took me because my brother was doing so good, but I really sucked in school. I wasn't good at all.
Wow.
They took me without even looking at my records, so they took me, and I messed up at that school too. So so I got away from my friends a little bit because I had to go to another junior high. But when I would come back, I would kick it with them, and they were already starting it. And then that's when I was doing the music. So I was playing in backyard shows all over Boyle Heights. We're doing back show gigs or going to different little clubs that would allow us because I was underage, and doing little things here and there. But after that, when I came back, I didn't go to the high school over there. I came back to my high school, and that was it. Just hanging out. It's basically that. And then where I grew up, our neighborhood, we're known for selling a lot of drugs. That's just it. We're a little bit different. Well, we're a lot different than a lot of other neighborhoods because everybody would come to our neighborhood to buy a lot of drugs. And where we lived on top of a hill. So my mom saw everything. My sisters, my brother, my older brother hated it. And he grew up with a lot of them, but, they all respected him, didn't do nothing. So he hated that life, and he hated me for a while. My younger sister than me, she hated it, but she still helped. And then the younger sister got into it. So, but my mom hated it, and we were on top, and everything that would happen. So we'd have helicopters every day, cops chasing us, and horses and cars and bicycles on feet, and we'd have gunfires every day. And this was, I don't know if you know, but the mid-'80s, late '80s, early '90s, it was crazy in Boyle Heights. Sure. The gang life, it was people dying left and right, and Boyle Heights has, I don't know how many years. There's a couple. There was a survey. It will come out on TV like which city is the worst one. Has the most murders. Washington D.C. had it for 1 year. We had it for 1 or 2 years. That we were the capital of people dying. There were people dying left and right. Yeah. So so that. But going back, because I go all over the place. Going back is they're all friends. We all grew up together. We went to the same school. We played in the same. So then when you go to somewhere else, another little neighborhood, that becomes another little neighborhood. So those are friends. You get that? It's just the same thing with you where you're at. Same thing with bikes. Biker clubs, they're a gang. The United States is a gang. Japan is a gang because it's all of them. And people don't realize that. Even let's say, no disrespect, just let's say 3 or 4 white suburban kids that kick back and that are just playing around and even doing little stupid things, hitting mailboxes or egging people. They're a gang.
Right.
You wouldn't, they're not doing the really, really bad things as we do because it's a different lifestyle. We came, it was different. And then from way back then, it was fighting. Then, they added the chains, then a knife, and then somebody got a gun. Then it escalated from that. You start getting more guns, and it got really bad. But I was in because we're all friends. We all grew up together. But now it varies for different people. That's what it is. Some people get into it because they want to sell drugs. I didn't really sell that much drugs. That wasn't really my thing. I really love to get loaded and create chaos and hurt people, hurt myself.
I gotcha. How long were you involved?
A long time. Yeah.
And at what point in time, I was just going to ask, what was the determining factor that made you kind of say to yourself, you know, I just don't want to be involved in this lifestyle anymore?
At the age of 29, I was in one of my little trips in jail. I was in Orange County, right there for a stupid little warrant. And I was looking at it. My two best friends that I grew up with, that I called my brothers, they had both passed away from the gang life. Not at the same time, different years. They passed away. I've already been stabbed 3 times, shot at with guns, and shot with a shotgun. I have a shotgun pellet on me, and I know at least 11 really good friends that we grew up all under the age of 21 that passed away due to gang violence. So I was in there, and it was like a movie. I just saw everything and saw everybody, and I was like, and all of my aspects, because after when first off, I got stabbed 3 times, and I almost passed away, and my 2 best friends, they found me with my other good friend, and they found me on the floor all full of blood, and they took me to the hospital, and, they handled me at the hospital. But then after that, that's when everything started really going bad, because when you're young, you're Superman. You think nothing could hurt you, nothing could kill you. And it was like that. It was good for a while. And I don't cry about it because it's a life that we chose, that we led. And you got to understand that, if you're going to be a gangster, be prepared. You're going to get shot at. Either by the cops or by other guys. You're not going to have any money. It's a lot. So when that happened, I was right there, and I had already been through everything. I already lost all my dreams and aspirations about anything. Music. When I was a little kid, I used to always think, I'm gonna be wealthy, famous, and successful, and I'm gonna take care of my family, and I'm gonna help people, in music. I was like, I love going in front and performing. And then all that disappeared, but I would perform in the streets doing different things.
Sure, I imagine.
So that when I was in there, when I was in jail, and I looked at all that, I was like, I'm still here for a reason. I'm not dead. I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm not in prison for life. And I'm not because I used to do a lot of drugs. I loved drugs and alcohol and liquor, all of that. But I'm like, I don't want to do none of it no more. So I want to do something with my life. So when I came out, I'm like, that's it. I don't want to do this. So when I came out, I remember what my dad did. My dad doesn't play in bands no more. He's a DJ. He still does what he loves, music, but he only does for himself. Because in a band, you're in a band with a relationship with however many people are in there. So he's doing it for himself. And when I was really young, I used to paint and draw and all that too. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do something. And I saw a movie with a gangster in there, and I was like, you know what, if this guy could do it, I can do it. So I had money saved up from ventures from, before. And I took 2 acting classes and got my headshots and started doing background work and changed my eating habits. I stopped drinking. I stopped doing drugs. I stood away from my friends and my family. I didn't tell nobody that I started acting. I just started doing it, and I just did it really hard. I started going to the gym and just changed everything, cold turkey. And it's a trip when you do. When all that started happening, all these opportunities started presenting themselves in front of me. And from one thing led to another. One thing led to another. A phone number here to talk to this person. I did a lot of background where I was blessed that it's just background, but they bumped me up to, you want to say a word? You want to say 2 words? I'm like, sure. We can't pay you. No, I want the money, man. Just let me say the words. Hey, come on. Throw my face right in front of the camera. And stuff like that started happening. I got one agent, and I wasn't happy, and I know, my agent has to work for me, so I'm like, I'm not going to stay with this agent. So I went to another agent and started doing more and more, and just going and getting one credit after another credit, and been blessed like that. Yeah.
Now, did you happen to, by chance, have formal training for your acting, or was it just kind of something?
I went to 2 different acting schools. Yeah, at first, right away, right off the bat, I said I had some money saved up, so I had 2 different acting schools that I went to. One was he was a great actor. He was in Donnie Brasco. His name is Robert Miano. He plays a lot of gangster roles, older gentlemen and stuff. But I had him, and then I also went to another different acting school, and then I also go to the SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. They have their little training sessions, for actors. They could come inside, so I'll go in there. Yeah, I wish I could go to more and stuff, but...
I was just going to ask that if you have continuing education or if you have time to, on occasion, go in and have additional classes and further your education.
Little by little, I'm starting to do it again, because it's been really busy, especially with my son now and all that, so...
I was going to say, yes, especially since you're a newborn daddy here. Obviously, that's going to cause a few new things to come up for you. Okay, I kind of wanted to start talking about, first off, we'll start off with some of your TV stints that you've done. I know that you've been cast in the role of Alejandro on the TV series NCIS with Mark Harmon. Could you maybe further define for us the steps that led to your actually solidifying participation on that show, as well as what the actual role entailed?
That role was just a background. But it was supposed to be a feature background, but they changed it again. That's one of those that say, you know what, you can be here for 4 days now, and we're going to allow you. And then it's different because the way that they edit, there's a lot of times that you speak and then they either cut down your speaking or they cut out your speaking completely. So it varies, but I got bumped up on that show. And went in there and had a nice role. I was a gangster that they shot and they found in the frozen pond, and then they had me in the autopsy room. So I was there. It was really fun. Had a few words, and Mark Harmon was nothing but a great guy, and everybody right there on set treated me and the other actors right there with respect. It was fun. It was fun.
Sure,
right there.
I imagine. Do you find yourself getting frustrated? Like if you're on that television set, I can imagine what it's like if you're mentioning 4 days like that. Doesn't that become tedious after a while? You maybe question, what am I doing here, sitting here for days on end? Do you know what I mean?
You know what? Yeah, you know what? A lot of people ask that because my wife already knows, you could be all day long just for 5 seconds, 10 seconds on camera, and you're there all day.
Wow.
Yeah, because you're waiting, or you film a lot, but you don't, the way that they cut and they edit, especially if it's a fast show, you gotta, it's either over the head from the back and then from the front and then a long shot, and then if somebody messes up with their lines or if one of the crew, if there's a noise, or if you're outside, if there's a helicopter, there's all these different factors, or if the camera runs out of film, there's all these different factors, so it takes that whole day, you think you're going to be there for a little bit, but you're there the whole day. You know what? I love it. I just love being there. I don't know how to describe it, but when I'm on set, I'm in home. And when you throw me in front of the camera, man, just let me act like a fool, and I'll do whatever. You just tell me how you want it, and let's do it. I'm happy. And just to be around, and then especially when you're around, I like to look at the director, and I like to look at better actors, greater actors, women and men, and see what they do and how they do it. And when I am blessed to be in front of one and start acting, especially like Charlie Sheen on anger management, it's ridiculous. And, you start going at it, and obviously they've been around and they've been doing it for a lot longer. They're a million times better. So it just brings out the best in me. I'm just like, oh, yeah, you throw it at me, I'm going to throw it right back at you. It's wonderful, but I'll wait there. I don't care. I'll wait. I'll go to craft service, get some stuff. I'll go back, go talk to another actor or just relax, read something. It's fun. It's fun. For me, for other people, it'll be a pain in the butt just to sit there all day. For me, it's not. It's not a pain. I love it.
I gotcha. Okay, I wanted to highlight on a secondary successful project. It's called Terminated the Sarah Chronicle. Let's try this again. Sarah Connor Chronicles. That's tough to say. Which I know helped to blossom your career as a television performer. Maybe you could compare that experience to your NCIS role, meaning what were the different challenges or rewards did each one present itself? Did you find a difference between, I know with different shows, different variables, maybe explain that a little bit to the audience.
Well, this one right here, I went in there for the audition. So I went into Warner Brothers, and I auditioned for the producers and for the director for it. and, you know, they said that they really liked me, that they really loved me. And, you know, if it was true or not, doesn't matter to me because I already know the game. You know, people talk a lot, so we'll see what happens. But my agent called me back and said, you know what, they really loved you, but they just wanted to go a different route and with somebody else. And they went with my really good friend, Jesse Garcia. So they went with him, but they're like, you know, we want you to be there, and we're gonna give you, you know, another role, and you're gonna have lines and all that. So I'm like, well, cool, you know. I just want to get in there, and I want to let people know. I want to show people. Just get me in there, and let me do my little piece, so you can remember who I am. So I went in there, and they let me do what I did, and everybody was surprised. Nina Headley, the main actress on that plays Sarah Connor. She's a wonderful lady. She treated me with nothing but respect, and we conversated, and we did our things with them, and that was 3 episodes. It was several days. It was fun. So that was a real actual role. So it was really nice, and you know, I got to show everybody what I can do.
Gotcha. Can I ask you, would you consider yourself to be, some people classify themselves as a quote-unquote method actor? Would you consider yourself to be one of those?
I would say kind of, yeah, because if I do a lot. Okay, now lately for the last couple of years, I've been doing a lot of comedy. I love it. I love the comedy. I love to play something other than me, you know, the gangster. But before that, you know, I'm always the gangster, the one that'll either kidnap, do drugs, or just stand right there, you know, the thug, and always getting killed. So anything that I could do that's different and whatever it takes, I start getting into that and see it. So now, let's say if I was supposed to be hurt with my leg and I'm limping, I'll hit my leg. I'm that extreme. I hit my leg so I can start limping. So that, you know, that's method, and I could say a little bit, yeah, not completely method, but yeah, I will do as much as I can, you know, because I'm only limited too, you know. The bigger actors, they could research and because they have time. I don't have time because I don't act every day, so I have other ways of making money to pay my bills, and people don't understand that. It's like, oh yeah, you made $30,000 on this commercial or on this movie. It's like, yeah, but you don't understand. I could go to 50, 60 auditions and not get any of them, and not because I'm a bad actor. I'm a good actor, but they didn't pick me because I had green eyes. They wanted blue eyes. I had no hair. They wanted hair. I was 5'5", and they wanted 5'7". So there's a lot of different aspects why you don't get picked. But I have other stuff to do right now to pay the bills until the acting really starts paying the bills. Then I'll have the time that when there's a role presented to me that is really, really juicy, I'll jump. Yeah, I'll jump in there. I'll do whatever it takes. Right there, 200%.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got to tell you before we go any further just how amazing I think you are. You fascinate me. You're very amazing. Your history, your lifestyle, what you came from, what you've become, how very lovely and gentle you sound, and very respectful. I just have to tell you that. And I don't run across that all of the time, so it's very impressive to me.
Everybody says that. Like, oh man, how can you be? You know, how can you live like that? I go, well, trust me. If you knew me back then, you wouldn't want to talk to me. Tell any of my family, my mom. Tell my, you know, they think that no, my mom knows, my dad knows. My brother, my sisters, they all knew because it was all right there in the house and right in front of the house and all over the house. And tell any of my friends that are still alive, girlfriends, you know, girl that are friends or guy friends, they'll all tell you, or other family members are like, yeah, he was a different person before. I'm on a different journey. I'm on a positive journey now. I don't got too much to be here on this earth, so I want to do something positive, leave this earth doing something big, and hopefully taking care of my family, my wife, my son, and give back to my mom and my dad for all the bull that I used to give them, that, you know, making them cry and everything else. And I want to try and help out a lot of the homies, even if they're not from my neighborhood, from other neighborhoods, and say, you know what, if I changed, there's other ways, you know, there's other stuff in life. You don't have to do this. And now it's just getting worse and worse, you know. So if there's somebody right there, if there's somebody out there that asks me something, I'm going to be more than glad to say, you know what, there's more. It doesn't have to be acting. You could be a doctor, lawyer, you could do it, but you gotta give up a lot of stuff to get what you really want. You got to give up a lot of stuff in life and then focus and keep on going and going and going and do it, and then it'll come. And it's hard, but once you get it, then it gets easier and it gets easier. And so that's, I don't know. I don't know what happened to me. I don't know what happened to me. One day I just grew a heart, and that was it. I was like, okay, well, so now I can't do the things that I used to do because my conscience is messing with me. So I'm like, well, I might as well do positive then.
Sure. And again, I just have to say that statement, these last couple of statements you've said, that's what distinguishes. There are millions of actors that are out there, but that doesn't make them good men. You are legitimately a good actor who is legitimately a good man. And I find that I'm in awe. I'm becoming a fan, and it's surprising because the first time I looked at you on Facebook, I was like, I don't want to be alone in an alley with him, let alone a room. I'm like, oh, my God, he's so intimidating. Look at him. And it's not because you're, like, tall like Ted. You just have that presence where if you walked into a room, I think I would cower and be like, oh, he's badass. You know, it's just how you appear, you know, and I'm sure you realize that or you've been told that before. So it's amazing. It's nice to see that you have so many layers. Kudos to you. Awesome. Okay, I guess we got to talk about this little show you were on. I know that you must carry an immeasurable sense of pride in the fact that you've acted on the most watched FX series in history, that being, of course, Sons of Anarchy. I personally feel that you brought an electrifying performance as one of the Mayan characters, which is, of course, Pedro on Season 4 of the show. I maybe want you to start by taking us through your journey to becoming cast on Sons, and maybe share some favorable moments that you have from being on the set.
Sure. I know personally Emilio Rivera. He's a really, really good friend, and that's Alvarez, the head Mayan on Sons.
Right.
We've worked many times on different projects. So I've always told him, you know, man, I can't wait because I ride too. I look different. I'm not a typical rider, you know, because you already know the way that I look. So I'm not a typical biker, but I've been riding since a little boy. And I have my bike, so I'm like, I would talk to him every once in a while. I'm like, man, I can't wait, you know, to get on Sons with you, you know, hopefully one day. And he's like, yeah. So this one day, sure enough, finally, my agent goes, hey, you got an audition for Sons. I was like, what? She's like, yep. I was like, all right. So then I went to casting, and I did it, and they had me improvise. So I love improvising. Don't tell me to improvise because I'll start acting like a fool. And however you want it, you know, if it's comedy, I'll do it. You know, do it my style. But if you want me to do drama, you want me to hurt somebody, I'll hurt them. Whatever you want me to do. So I went there, and you know, obviously that's not a comedy; it's a drama. So they had me. She had me do some real hard stuff. So I'm like, oh man, I'm home. What are you talking about? So I did it, and then you know, she complimented me a lot. And then after that, I'm like, yeah, well, I know Emilio. And she was like, what? You know Emilio? I'm like, yeah, I've known him for a lot of years. I worked with him many times. You know, we've done a lot of projects, movies, not TVs.
Okay.
So she's like, okay. And wow, you know what? And I told her, next time you see him, can you tell him I said hi? And she was like, no, when you go on set, you tell him hi. And I was like, what? I go, come on, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. She was like, no. When you go on set, I'm going to push for you. I was like, oh, okay, all right. You know, you always hear stuff. And I just, okay, you know, I'm going to thank you very much. So I leave, and I call up Emilio, and I'm talking to him, hey, carnal, you know, I went to audition, you know, to see if I get it. So he was excited for me. He was like, all right, you know, hopefully you get it. And he's like, for who? For mine too? I'm like, yeah, you know, to be a right-hand man. And he's like, all right. So sure enough, you know, they called me, and I went there, and it was wonderful. Everybody there, Kirk Sutter came up to me, introduced himself to me, and was cordial and nothing but love, man. Nothing but respect and love for him. And then his wife too, Katie Segal, she came up to me too. I talked to her. I asked her politely if I could take a picture with her. And I don't like to take pictures with a lot of people, but I know her from Love and Marriage, you know, Peggy Bundy. So. And to see in a role like this, it's a trip, you know, from all the comedy that I known her from, and not to do this. And everybody else on set, everybody from Charlie to Ron to Mark to Ryan Hurst, Theo, Maggie, David LaBrava, everybody, Kim Coates, everybody, nothing. They're all joking around. They're all kicking back in between scenes, so we're just kicking back, you know. Everybody makes you feel at home. We're just having fun, just waiting, and I have other friends that were doing background right there, so I knew them. And then another funny thing too is that another Mayan that was right there was my friend Jesse Garcia, the actor, the one that was in the Sarah Connor Chronicles with me. So it was Emilio, me, and him, and he's playing Rafi. So we're like, oh, Raleigh, what? Is that right? So all three of us are right there together, so we're doing it. So, you know, it's just, we're getting paid to have fun. That it's beautiful. You know, if it was every day, it would be wonderful. Then, you know, I'll be really, really happy. But it's okay. I'm paying my dues. I'm getting up the ladder. I'm letting Hollywood and the whole world know what's up with me. People like me from Boulder Heights, like that. So it was fun. But every single one of them, it was the camaraderie right there. Everybody just messing around. Everybody's cracking up jokes. And it's crazy how they crack up jokes, and then after that, okay, get on set, boom, and how fast they transform from cracking up jokes, from laughing, from, you know, total chaos to getting on there. Because Ron Perlman, he's a jokester. He's a comedian. I don't know how bad he was, but he's always cracking up jokes. And then after that, and we're standing right there waiting, and okay, all right, get ready, back to one, and boom, everybody just transforms to drama. It's like, wow.
Definitely a sign that is a sign of a hugely polished actor, obviously, an individual that can transform. That's what makes him so good, obviously. So I'm guessing, of course, that camaraderie isn't limited to on screen, of course, meaning that you take them out of that element. Is it the same way you find off screen? Everybody is tightly knit as far as a family, being friends, etc.
From right there, from what I saw, everybody's family right there. Everybody's family. Everybody has a good time. Everybody's talking during lunch, in between scenes. Everybody's just, it was fun. And, you know, I was there for several days. So when I left, everybody just thanked me, and everybody just said wonderful things, and I was just like, wow. And obviously, I pay my respects to everybody else, too. And I'm like, man, I wish they didn't kill me, because I would love to be.
That would have been a cool gig, eh? Like, if I want to do this for another year.
Yeah. I'm like, it's okay. I have to die first. So I know I'm gonna keep on dying for a while, but you know, eventually there's gonna be a director, producer, somebody in Hollywood that's gonna say, nah, you know what, you're not gonna die this time. We're gonna keep you for a while. So it's happening. But I was like, I was disappointed that it was only 2 episodes, because it was fun. I had a blast there.
Oh, I imagine so. Now, you know I'm female, so I have to ask this question. And to anyone who's listening who's female, of course I have to ask this question. I think all of us at some point have gone through this crush, if don't have an existing crush already, on Charlie Hunnam. So I have to ask this question, since you were in hindsight and so close to him, whereas most of us will probably never get to meet him. Well, maybe some of us. Is he really that cute? For lack of a better term, I'm grasping. I'm like, is he an attractive fellow?
Yes, he is. I'm confident with my sexuality. I'm confident. I'm cool when I say, you know, hey, that guy's handsome. That guy's good looking. So yeah, he is. He's a good looking guy.
Got it.
And you can't hate on him. You can't hate on him. Yeah, he got it.
I know, no kidding. It's just like,
and you know, and more power to him. Yeah, he's
definitely.
He's a great guy too. I've talked to him. He's a great guy. He's just down to earth. He's cool. I got nothing bad. Nothing but respect for the homie. Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, I imagine, and I guess I'm just assuming this, but did you find yourself intimidated, let's say the first time you came onto set, because it is Sons of Anarchy, and of course it's tight-lipped and the security's high there. Was that overwhelming for you when you first got there?
No, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's not like that for some other people. It is, but for me, you know, I'm home. When I'm there, I'm home, and I see all of them. I'm like, all what's going through my head is, I'm like, oh man, I want everybody to see what I can do. I want everybody to see what I can do. I want to give my 100 to let everybody, you know, whoever's going to act with me, I want to act just as good, so we can make that scene better. And I just want to let everybody know, you know, how can I say it? I'm not just a gangster from Boyle Heights that's coming in and just trying to be an actor. I am an artist. All right, I used to paint and draw, and I used to play the drums, and I still do, and I'm doing it now again. And I've always, since a little boy, I've always acted like a fool in elementary school, getting in trouble, and in the streets later on, just getting in trouble. And also, I do all my own stunts. I was doing it in the streets, and now I've been doing it in the movies too, jumping out of two-story candy glass windows, landing on a car, being hit by cars, being chased, all that. Yeah, I do all my own stunts. I carry guns. I'm like, man, this is just back in the days. I get to shoot and do all this, carry guns, but I get to go home and get paid. I'm like, wow, it's fun.
How cool is that, hey?
How nice is that?
Not to mention, you're on like this hugely popular show, hanging out with all these awesome guys. It's got to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I last wanted to ask, maybe describe your working relationship with Kurt Sutter as compared to previous directors. How would you compare those experiences, director-wise?
He is very mellow. He is humble. He's the word is just in Spanish it's called firme. He's cool. It just translates to cool, and he's nice, and he just lets you do what you do, and he's very respectful, and nothing but just I'm right there. And when I go on set, the first time I go on set or anytime, I post up and I'm just looking at everybody, listening, see how people are, see how the crew is, see how the set, how the rules, because every different movie, every different TV show, if it's drama, comedy, it's all different. Every different director and producer, everybody's different. So when I'm on set, any set, I'm as professional, the most professional person. Go in there, I don't mess around, let's go and do it. But him, during one of our lunches, we went inside with the whole cast, and we started reading for the next episode. And the way he was talking to everybody, it's just he has love. He has love for everybody there, and he's very passionate in what he does and what he's doing. And I can't, he's a great guy.
So he's not quite the intimidating fellow compared to, let's say, I follow him on Twitter, and I'm like, oh my God, some of the stuff he says on Twitter, I'm like afraid to read.
Yeah. See, what he does on Twitter and other stuff, he just voices his opinion. He voices his opinion. He's real strong. But when he's there, that's to the world and letting the world know what's up. But he's letting the world know what's up. But when he's on set, it's family. It's everybody there is there for a reason, and that's for the show, to get the show done. So everybody is family there. So he does not. There's nothing. There's no reason. You get it?
Oh no, I get exactly what you're talking about.
He's on work mode. Everybody's on work mode. Yeah, during cuts or during lunch or breakfast, whatever, or in makeup, everybody's acting a fool or talking politics or religion or whatever. But once it starts rolling, that's it. Everybody's just boom. That's how professional it is. Love it. I love it.
That's awesome. That must have been an amazing, incredible experience. Yeah, that's my dream interview, actually. I'm working on some point in time, eventually down the road, and I know this will shock you. I probably wouldn't want Kurt Sutter. I would probably want to get Kitty Seagal, which I'm sure surprises most people. They're like, what? You don't want Kurt Sutter? He would scare me to the point where I can't talk to him. I swear to God, I'd be like, can't say anything. And I'm a writer, and you know what it's like when you're a writer talking to a fellow writer. It's amazingly intimidating, just because he's so accomplished, doing The Shield and then doing Sons of Anarchy. That is a lot of intimidation. I mean, my God, I'm still trying to get over being nervous talking to you right now. And we're 50 minutes into it, and I'm still like, whoo, there's a lot of pressure here. But it's going good, I think, so far. I think we're doing okay. I want to switch gears a little bit because 2012 was the dawn of your character portrayal of Ernesto, of course, on this flourishing television series, Anger Management.
Yeah.
First off, do you ever feel in part like the Sons of Anarchy role could have been credited as partial reason for the offer to be on this show?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Because everybody that went there were people that were on Sons. That went for my role. Yeah, that went for my role. Yeah, there was different people. I'm not mentioning any names, but there was different people there. Yeah, we were called. I do believe that we were called because when my agent told me about it, it was even before she told me about it before it came out on the breakdowns. So, and when she let me know, she's like, yeah, you're going to go on with Charlie Sheen's new comedy TV series. I was like, what? Yeah. She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, man. And when that happened, I practiced, me and my wife, and this is crazy. We just sat down, and she got her iPad and started filming me, and she every once in a while when she has time or when I need it, she'll read with me. I'll tell her, hey, practice with me. So she was like, okay. So this one was like, we were practicing left and right, just practicing, because I just want to go in there and do 1,000,000%. And at least if I didn't get the role, I'm going to let everybody know right there on FX, whoever sees it, the casting director, all the producers, executives, Bruce Halford, because he's a showrunner for it. Let everybody know what's up with me. So I went in there, and they didn't tell me. They didn't tell me for a long time that I got it. And it's a long story. But I was going to head out to Denver. And my agent called me and said, you got it. And I was like, God, what? What are you talking about? So like, you got anger management. What? And she's like, yeah, but here's the thing, though. And she already knew because I told her I'm booking out because I have to go to Denver. And my family's up there. So I wasn't, that was, let's say, I don't remember what day it was, but let's say it's a Thursday. She's like, but here's the catch. Tomorrow, you have to be there for the table read. Tomorrow's a table read, and you have to be there. Everybody's going to be there. All the executives from FX, all the producers, everybody. I was like, oh, my God. And I already had my plane ticket bought. So I go, okay, give me 10 minutes, I'll call you back. She was like, you better hurry up because they're saying if I don't call back, then they're going to go for somebody else. I'm like, I'm going to call you right now in 5. So I told my wife, you know what, I got it, this and that. I go, I'm not going to Denver. She's like, don't worry about it. We'll change it. We'll pay the fine, whatever it is. So sure enough, and I went over there, and the experience, I've been in table reads. You know what a table read is, where you read either a movie or the TV series, that show. So this is the first one that I went to like this. So we're at the studio where we film at, and it's not too far where the Sons is at. We're the main studio for the Sons. So I'm there, and everybody, it's a big long table, so everybody's there. Every producer is there. It was ridiculous. And all the executives were sitting on the sides, from FX, and they had, I guess, like an audience of people sitting behind us, and they were there, and we read it. Everybody from Bruce Halford, obviously Charlie Sheen, Selma Blair, just everybody that was there, all the producers, Mark Berg, Bob Marin, Dave Kaplan, Bob Cushel, and Ramon Estevez, everybody just sitting down, and it was insane. It was about, I don't know, I think like about 150 people, and for me, that's my first time. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, wow, I'm in total awe. And we start reading it, and everybody's just cracking. We couldn't finish it because everybody's just cracking up. And I was like, oh, I'm home. I hope this. And then everybody after that, it was just the camaraderie. Just we hope it gets picked up, and the love that was going. We started because the first one was the first 10 episodes that we had to do. So it was fun. And to go back, I'm sorry that I skipped. But, yeah, I do believe that it was because of Sons of Anarchy that they called me in for anger management.
Gotcha. Now, obviously, it begs to ask the question, because certainly most of us, anybody who follows the medium out there knows Charlie Sheen's had quite a colorful past, obviously. So I'm curious to kind of get your impressions on, what the media shows us and what we know about him and his life as compared to the working individual that you're with on set. To me, I don't. I could care less what the media says about anybody, Charlie or anybody else, because they only tell you half the truth, or sometimes not even the truth. They throw their. I believe that they throw their own thing, just to hype it up, to get you to watch it. But for me and my wife, and I could put her on the phone right now, and she'll let you know, is that Charlie Sheen has been nothing but wonderful to us. On set, we mess around, we have fun, we just joking, laughing. Offset, when we did our first rap party at Mixology in the Grove, when we had that party right there, he sat down and talked to me, and we were just kicking back, chopping up game like that. That's the first time I introduced him to my wife, so he went up, grabbed her, kissed her, and said hi, and said wonderful things about me. And then after that, the next one, there was the FX party, the big FX party for
for all the different comments that we have. So we're there, and next thing you know, I'm kicking it right there with them again, you know, and I didn't expect that. He's all like, come here, Aldo, sit down. Tell your wife to sit down right here again, too. So we're just kicking back. It's ridiculous. And, you know, a lot of things happened, and it was a wonderful night on both nights, and we've been to his house several times. And
really?
Just to kick back, you know, not just us, other people. He invites other people and other cast members. So we've been to his house several times to break bread and just to have fun, just to relax. And he invites other cast members, and other cast members like Shawnee Smith brings her kids, and whoever has her kids. Hunt is the DP that he brought from 2.5 Men. He was the DP for about 8 years or so, and he came down. I guess he wanted to leave, you know, that show, and came down to our show, and now he's right there with us, and you know, he brings his daughter, and there's other people that it's a family affair that goes down there, and we just kick back and relax. So he has given me nothing but respect and love, so I just shoot it back at him. There's nothing bad that I can say about that homeboy. Charlie Sheen is cool. That's just how it is, and he helps out a lot of people. He helps out a lot. He gives back. And a lot of people don't know that, but he does. He gives back a lot of his earnings and a lot of his time. He helps a lot of the military, and he helps a lot of the police officers. He gives a lot of donations, really big donations. So nobody's perfect in this world. There's nobody perfect. So I don't care what anybody says, because obviously I'm not perfect. My past is there's things that I can't say. I don't want to incriminate myself. So I wasn't perfect. I'm still not perfect right now, but I'm being the best person that I can be. That's it. And you're always going to have people in life that are going to hate you, no matter what. There's going to be people that like you, and there's going to be people that hate you. That's just life. That's how it is. But I can't say nothing bad about him. He's been nothing but wonderful to me and to my wife and to everybody on set. And we have fun. It's fun. I love it. I love doing the comedy. Yeah. Hello? 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 Cindy? 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 Hello? Huh? What? Oh, she's on?
Hello?
Ready? Okay. We got paper, yes we do. White rule notebooks, pencils, glue. We got crayons, every hue. School supplies for your whole crew. Target's got everything you need to ready, set, go back to school. Ready? Okay. We got paper, yes we do. White rule notebooks, pencils, glue. We got crayons, every hue. School supplies for your whole crew. Target's got everything you need to ready, set, go back to school.